In the realm of self-improvement, Ryan Holiday's ego is the enemy stands as a stark reminder of the insidious force that often sabotages our endeavors. Our own ego. This book is not just a guide but a profound exploration into the human psyche, revealing how our ego can be both a silent saboteur and a loud disruptor. It challenges us to look within and confront the very essence of our being, urging us to recognize and dismantle the barriers we often unknowingly erect. Holiday, a Stoic philosopher and author, posits that ego, far from being a driver of success, is often the very obstacle that prevents us from reaching our full potential. He draws from historical anecdotes, philosophical teachings, and personal experiences to illustrate how ego can derail even the most well-intentioned efforts. By examining the lives of great leaders, thinkers, and creators, Holiday shows us that humility, discipline, and self-awareness are the true cornerstones of lasting success. This essay delves into the depths of Holiday's argument, exploring how ego manifests itself in our aspirations, successes, and failures, and ultimately, how we can manage and overcome this internal adversary. It is a journey through the various stages of life where ego can either be a stumbling block or a stepping stone, depending on how we choose to engage with it. From the early stages of ambition, to the heights of achievement, and the inevitable encounters with failure, ego is a constant companion that requires vigilant management. Holiday's central premise is that ego, in its various forms, distorts our perceptions and hinders our growth. It clouds our judgment, making us susceptible to overconfidence and complacency. By distorting reality, ego creates a false sense of security that can lead to poor decision-making and missed opportunities. Understanding this distortion is the first step towards mitigating its impact and fostering a more grounded and realistic approach to personal and professional development. It is the voice within that whispers tales of our own importance, blinding us to our flaws and limitations. This internal dialogue can be both seductive and destructive, convincing us that we are infallible and beyond reproach. By recognizing this voice and questioning its validity, we can begin to dismantle the ego's hold on our psyche and open ourselves up to genuine growth and improvement. It is the force that drives us to seek external validation rather than focusing on internal improvement. In a world where social media and public recognition often take precedence, the ego thrives on likes, shares, and accolades. However, true fulfillment comes from within, from a deep-seated sense of purpose and self-worth that is not contingent on external approval. Holiday urges us to shift our focus from seeking validation to cultivating inner strength and resilience. And it is the enemy that lurks within, waiting to capitalize on our moments of triumph and despair. In times of success, ego can inflate our sense of self-importance, leading to arrogance and hubris. Conversely, in moments of failure, it can amplify our insecurities and self-doubt. By maintaining a balanced perspective and practicing humility, we can navigate these highs and lows with grace and poise, ultimately achieving a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Ego, as Holiday defines it, is not merely arrogance or an inflated sense of self-importance. It is a more insidious and pervasive force that manifests itself in subtle ways, often going unnoticed until it has already taken root in our psyche. It is the quiet voice that whispers in our ear, convincing us that we are always right, even when we are not. It is the force that makes us defensive when faced with criticism, unable to see the value in the perspectives of others. It is the need to be right all the time, the compulsion to win every argument, and the refusal to back down even when we know we should. The inability to accept criticism is another hallmark of ego. When we are unable to take feedback constructively, we miss out on opportunities for growth and improvement. Ego also manifests as a constant desire for attention and praise. We seek validation from others to bolster our self-esteem, often at the expense of genuine connections and relationships. Ego thrives on comparison, leading us to measure our worth against others, and fueling feelings of inadequacy or superiority. This constant comparison can create a toxic cycle of envy and competition, where we are never satisfied with what we have. One of the key dangers of ego is its ability to blind us to our own shortcomings. When we are consumed by our own self-importance, we become less receptive to feedback and less willing to acknowledge our mistakes. This lack of self-awareness can lead to a stagnation in personal and professional growth. We become stuck in our ways, unable to adapt or improve because we refuse to see where we are going wrong. This in turn prevents us from learning and growing, ultimately hindering our progress. To overcome the grip of ego, we must cultivate humility, remain open to feedback, and be willing to learn from our mistakes. Only then can we truly move forward and achieve our full potential. When we embark on a journey towards a goal, ego can be our biggest obstacle. It whispers doubts in our ears, telling us we are not good enough, not smart enough, or not worthy of success. It fuels our impatience, making us crave instant gratification, and causing us to give up when we don't see immediate results. Holiday argues that true aspiration requires humility. We must be willing to put in the hard work, to embrace the journey, and to learn from our mistakes. Ego, with its focus on shortcuts and quick wins, can easily derail us from this path. Ironically, ego can be even more dangerous when we achieve success. The accolades, the recognition, and the praise can easily inflate our ego, leading to complacency, entitlement, and a disconnect from reality. We start believing our own hype, becoming resistant to feedback, and losing sight of the hard work and dedication that got us there in the first place. History is replete with examples of individuals who were consumed by their own success. From emperors to athletes, the allure of ego has proven to be a potent force, often leading to downfall and ruin. Just as ego can corrupt success, it can also amplify the sting of failure. When we fail, our ego goes into overdrive, seeking to protect us from the pain of defeat. We blame others, make excuses, and refuse to take responsibility for our actions. Holiday reminds us that failure is an inevitable part of life and that it is through our failures that we learn and grow. However, when we allow our ego to dictate our response to setbacks, we miss out on valuable opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Section 6. Practical Strategies, Taming the Ego. While ego may be a formidable foe, it is not insurmountable. Holiday offers practical strategies for managing and overcoming ego, emphasizing the importance of self-awareness, humility, and a focus on the present moment. One of the most effective ways to combat ego is to cultivate self-awareness. By paying attention to our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, we can begin to identify the triggers that inflate our ego and develop strategies for managing them. This might involve practicing mindfulness, seeking feedback from trusted sources, or simply taking some time each day to reflect on our actions and motivations. Section 7. Historical Anecdotes, Lessons in Humility. Throughout Ego is the Enemy, Holiday draws upon a wealth of historical anecdotes to illustrate the dangers of ego and the power of humility. From the Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome to modern-day leaders and athletes, Holiday's examples serve as cautionary tales and sources of inspiration. We learn about the Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who despite his immense power and wealth remained grounded and humble, constantly reminding himself of the fleeting nature of life. We encounter the legendary investor Warren Buffett, who, despite his extraordinary success, continues to live a modest lifestyle and credits his accomplishments to the contributions of others. Section 8. The Power of Humility, Embracing Our Imperfections. Ultimately, Holiday argues that the key to overcoming ego lies in embracing humility. This does not mean denying our accomplishments or diminishing our worth. Rather, it means recognizing that we are all flawed and imperfect beings, capable of both great and terrible things. When we approach life with humility, we become more open to learning, more compassionate towards others, and more resilient in the face of challenges. We recognize that our ego is not our master, and we choose to define ourselves by our values, our actions, and our contributions to the world around us. Section 9. Conclusion, a lifelong battle against ego. Ego is the enemy is a powerful reminder that our biggest obstacle is often ourselves. It teaches us that the ego, with its constant need for attention and validation, can be a formidable adversary. This book encourages us to look inward and recognize the ways in which our ego can hinder our progress and growth. Ego, with its insatiable appetite for attention, validation, and control, can sabotage our aspirations, corrupt our successes, and amplify our failures. It can make us overly sensitive to criticism, resistant to feedback, and blind to our own shortcomings. This internal struggle can lead to stress, frustration, and a sense of isolation. However, by cultivating self-awareness, embracing humility, and focusing on the present moment, we can manage and overcome this internal adversary. Practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and self-reflection can help us stay grounded and keep our ego in check. These practices allow us to see the bigger picture and understand that we are part of something greater than ourselves. The battle against ego is a lifelong pursuit, but it is a battle worth fighting. Every step we take towards humility and self-awareness brings us closer to our true potential. It is through this ongoing effort that we can achieve personal growth and fulfillment. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. By choosing to live with humility, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities, both personally and professionally. Humility allows us to build stronger relationships, foster collaboration, and create a positive impact in our communities. It enables us to learn from others, grow from our experiences, and contribute meaningfully to the world around us. We become better versions of ourselves, more capable of achieving our goals, building meaningful relationships, and making a positive impact on the world. By continuously striving to keep our ego in check, we pave the way for a more fulfilling and purposeful life. This lifelong battle against ego is not just about overcoming an internal adversary, but about unlocking our true potential and living our best lives.